Hello, everybody. I just wanted to talk to you about 2023 and what I feel is happening for people on an individual and actually on a world level too. 2022 was an interesting year because 22 is a master number, and when master numbers come up, it also means there's great opportunity for change, and there's also great opportunity for power and control. And I think we can see over the last couple of years how much power and control was running the world. People trying to control where we were and what we did and cut our freedoms in many ways. And there were many lies told, and these lies are all starting to surface, particularly at the end of last year. A lot of people were being exposed, and a lot of the lies and things that governments were saying and doing that weren't actually what they were saying and doing. So this year is a year where truth is going to prevail. Many people will be exposed, many schemes and things that were done will be exposed. We will see that the media will start to become the voice of the people, and they will start exposing things, and many things will come to light because the media will now be of the people, coming from the people, being from the people collective. So this is the year of truth, and that means truth for you as well. So this is the year for you to speak your truth. The throat chakra is where we speak our truth, and there's another chakra that I've mentioned in another podcast that's actually starting to develop in humans, which is the lower throat chakra. It's just a little bit down from there. When you put your hand there, we put our hand, we'll put our hand there on that breastplate. That's the other one, and that's being developed now, and that's opening up as the world is opening up. So we now have an extra chakra that's opening. It's important this year to speak the truth to people, to say things that maybe need to be said in a kind and loving way, and to come from love, of course, but to be truthful and to come back to the truth, because our world is untruthful and there are many lies and deceptions. And if we want to progress spiritually, we can't live a lie, we can't live in the lies. When we speak the truth, of course, we will do it in a careful way, and we will think about the timing. This doesn't mean you just go out and tell everybody everything, but if it needs to be said, it needs to be said. And it's kind of like that getting it off your chest idea, which is where that chakra is. It's the opening of that. You will also find you'll be more truthful with yourself. You will start to tackle some of the things you've been in denial about, perhaps, and be more truthful about that. And you will encourage others to speak the truth and be honest. And this is the year of truth coming into this year. It's very important this year. This will also resonate in the world where exposure of lies and deceit will be manifest. And there's certain people who've come down to do that, people who are in powerful positions. And those people will actually be the ones who open that Pandora's box, and a lot of things will come and be revealed. This is not going to be a good year for people who've lied and deceived and not done the right thing, but it could be a very powerful and good year energetically for people who have worked on themselves and have come from love and also not control and power. There will also be a lot of karmic backlash this year for many people, people who have treated other people poorly, people who have been cruel and mean and played power games and lied to people. This is the year that the karma comes, and you will see it happening around you. People will be having accidents, getting COVID again. There'll be lots of things happening, and you will know on certain incidents this is karmic backlash. I always know it. I get the word karmic in my head, and I know that it's a karma coming back. So all the karma that we've earned for ourselves will now come back in this year. But that's a good thing too, because if you've done a lot of good work and being loving and kind, this is the year when it starts to come back in. The picture I see is that the tide has gone out, but now the tide is starting to come in for those people. It's also a great year for healing, the beginning of the healing of the world, and there are still some things to manifest and come out, but there will be a lot of healing around that. People need to be healing themselves, they need to be healing others and healing the world, and there will be a lot of healing done in many areas. It'll be with minority groups, it will be with disadvantaged people, it will be in some countries and areas that need healing, and other countries will now come in and help them. So the hand of healing is this year's hand of healing, and I see a hand outstretched and healing being given for many things. Anything that you can do this year to heal yourself and all your rubbish and baggage, and letting go of things, and to heal others and to encourage their healing and to send healing and prayers. And the last thing, that one of the most important things for us, is freedom. We had just had a few years where our freedoms were taken away for various reasons, and we lost a lot of freedom, and we weren't circulating in the world like we usually were. And that freedom is coming back this year, and it's going to come back very strongly. People having realised what it was like not to have the freedom to see their family whenever they want, or to go to work, or be able to just go and mingle and mix with people. Now we'll be getting that freedom back, and we'll actually be more grateful. So there's a lot of freedom coming. This also means, though, that people have started to see that freedom in their life is important, whereas they just took it for granted. And in that way, the last few years have taught us that, and how important our family and our friends are, and connection are. So this is the year where, if people's freedoms are being taken away, I think we're going to see people jumping up and down, and see them making a fuss and going on protests, and just not putting up with it. It's almost like we had a whole lot of people in the world who governed the world, and they are getting older and their energy is dissipating, and the people who are now going to govern the world are actually the people. It will actually be the people, and the people power is going to become very strong, especially towards, I feel, next September, November. It will really surge, and then people will be asserting their power as a collective, because we're now going to be as a collective. Because somehow, having been held in lockdown and all these things that happened, we were all brought down to the same level. We were all the same. None of us could get any toilet paper here in Australia. So everyone, rich or poor, was on the same level. And that gave us a kind of a sense of a community, in a sense, because we were all going through the same process. So now, with the freedoms that are coming, there will be that we are now going to all, as a collective, stand for what we believe in. And that's actually the truth. What we think is fair and honest and truthful. And the hierarchy that held the world in place is starting to dissemble and break up. And a lot of those people will either leave the earth or leave their positions of power for different reasons. Could be accidents or even assassinations. And those people who were running the world will now not be the order of the world. It'll be the people and the collective. And I think we're going to see new leaders who come out of almost the collective. And that's going to make for a better world and for the healing of the world. We need leaders and people in power who come from love and truth and give freedom. And that's where I think we're heading. I keep seeing the Constitution of America with the freedom of speech and all the freedoms, and I keep seeing that as a piece of paper in front of me, which means we're almost going back to that time. It's like not a revolution, but it's like a quiet revolution, a silent revolution around the world. People will be involved more in healing, in helping, in caring, in fixing, in making things better. And it'll be the people who are doing it and the people who are running it. And it's interesting because the power has changed. So there's a shift of power now, whereas before there was a certain group of people who had the power. They're losing the power and it's going. And then the power is now from the people. This is why you're seeing people becoming vegans now, and then all of a sudden the community is becoming more vegan or vegetarian, and so now these products are now in the marketplace because of demand of the people. It's like people will now demand these things. People will demand more organic food. People will demand these things just because they want to buy it, and so the businesses will want to sell it. So you're going to see an upsurge in the demand of people for various products. We're not going to be blinded by what we're told anymore. The internet can be a mouthpiece for many people, even though people have been shut down on the internet and Twitter, but that's going to actually open up as well. And there's going to be a lot more diversity in things than there have been, and it won't be as controlled as much. The control of the people will be here. It's the power of the people. So this year I feel it's the power of the people, the power of the collective. And most people are loving and kind and want to help others, so that you're going to have a lot more love. Whereas I find people who are in powerful positions come a little bit more from control and power and less from love. Whereas the collective is going to come more from love and their families and the world and doing the right thing. So I actually think 2023, even though it might be rocky on some levels, is going to rock around to tidy up the world, to change things, because there have to be some changes made. Because if we're going to live in this new vibration, and the new vibration that's coming is the love vibration, it's quite a high vibration, and it's coming to the world, and it's actually going to affect a lot of people, and therefore it's going to change how we do things, and this can be a good thing. When you look at this year, you will see some things happening. I don't want you to become too alarmed. That it's almost like a process that has to happen. It has to build up to break down. But there are many things that are now the people's mouthpiece. It's going to be the people who now start to run the world, and they will now install governments and other people who will be their spokesperson. And the internet, I think, is going to change as well. It feels to me the internet is going to shift and change, and there's going to be much more open dialogue. And the internet is going to be a place where the truth can come out. And because people can't hide the truth anymore, because all the phones around and people going on the internet and spreading viral things all over the world, it can't be stymied anymore. That kind of structure isn't in place. It's almost like the internet will now start to be more and more, and we might even find some new guidelines and or some new internet or media things happening in the next few years that allow even more open expression. For you, it's the truth, telling the truth. For you, it's healing yourself and others, and freedom, personal freedom. And I want you in this next year to work on those three things, because they're the most important things. And you will see around you that everything that you do will affect everyone else. And if we all do this more and more, the world will become a better and a more loving place. So that's what I got for this year, and I hope it's helpful and interesting for you.